Okay.
Cool. Welcome, everybody. Uh, as Stephanie said, our internet's a little unstable here, and if I disappear from your screens, hopefully Stephanie won't disappear and she can just take over for me. And glad that you all are present, and for those who are watching the recording, hopefully it does well for you. I'm really thankful that you guys are willing to be host families. One of our goals for this training is to properly encourage you, to give you a little bit of direction, but not to intimidate or scare you about the role you're taking. And what I mean by that is you guys have an important role to play for our new members, but it's not all up to you. Just want to make sure everybody knows that. When it comes to folks not only becoming a part of a church, meaning joining, but actually integrating into the life of a church, a host family can play a really important role for them. Yet at the same time, it's up to families who join the church to also do their part too. So just want to let you know that we're going to give you a little bit of direction, some encouragement, but want you to know that you're part of a relationship and not everything's up to you. But the important part is that we're not a small church. I threw out a couple of stats the other day, and I had a couple of the youth group leaders corral me on Sunday night, and they wanted to double check. DCPC is among the top 10% of Christian communities of faith in the United States by size. So we're bigger than 90% of the congregations. Get this, the median, so not the mean, not the average, but the median worshiping size of a congregation in the United States is 60 people, 60 or
Hmm.
65, depending on who you talk to. That means half the churches in America have fewer than that 60 to 65, and half have more. We have more than 60 people on average in our 845 service of worship. We're among the top 1% of Presbyterian congregations, PCUSA. My guess is we're in the top 0.5%. We're not a mega church, but we're not a small church. And when you're a new person in a church, everybody seems to speak a different language. They all seem to know the same shorthand for things that go on. They know where the Burris gathering space is. They know where the congregation house is. And part of the role a host family can play is being someone who issues invitations and someone who offers interpretation. Let me give you an example of both put together. Let's say Barb Russell is part of a wonderful PW circle. And let's say that her family, her new member family, has someone who might enjoy her PW circle. Barb has two jobs. Number one, to say, hey, I'd love for you to come and visit our PW circle. Almost nothing in the life of a church, DCPC anyway, is closed. Our circle would love to have new folks. I'd love you to come. And you're probably wondering what a PW circle is because it's not a square. It's not actually a shape. It's a group of women who get together monthly. Some of those women's groups focus more on study, others focus more on fellowship. And my women's group is one that's a little more focused on studying the Bible together or studying theological books. But come join us for one of them. So she's both inviting and interpreting or what is going on in the life of DCPC. And any organization's got its jargon. You got the congregation house, you've got the PW circles. I mean, not everybody knows what a Bible study is, for goodness sake. We've got a men's night fellowship. What is that? Why isn't Steve Goodman part of the men's night fellowship? Because he doesn't fit
Too
in that
old.
middle third of life
Too
that
old.
some of us are a part of. So anyway, you get the idea. If there's something in the life of our church that's connected to you, and if it's not a closed group like a grief group, invite your new family to come with you, but make sure they understand what they're being invited to. But being willing to interpret other things in the life of the church is really important. So I just want to make sure that you all know that that's kind of invitation and interpretation. If you remember no other words tonight, that's part of what you're about. Uh, I said it on Sunday at the congregational meeting. I'll say it again. Big churches often have big back doors. We open our arms wide and say, "We're so glad you're here." And we don't quite notice when folks slip out the back. And even if we notice, we're Presbyterian, we don't want to intrude, so we don't call and say, "We've missed you, Stephanie." But the longer Stephanie's gone, and the longer nobody calls Stephanie, maybe I wasn't a part of that church anyway. Right. So here's a stat that, and this is the last stat I'll give you. It may be a little dated, But once upon a time, when they did a study of people who left churches, what they found is that for every 6 weeks that someone is not a part of something outside of worship, you cut in half the likelihood they're going to stay a member. So if after 6 weeks they only still come to worship, 50% of those folks on average aren't going to be around much longer. And then after another 6 weeks, half of that group. Again, those I haven't seen a number in a while, but the way to think about it is uh, I don't think Jennifer and Dustin are old enough for this reference, but maybe they are. In the 1980s, there's a great TV show called Cheers, right? And what was the tagline?
Everyone
Everyone
knows your
knows your
name.
name.
Boom, right?
Yeah.
We all want to hear our name. And I don't mean that in a self-centered way, but when someone calls your name, it means that someone knows you. It means that you aren't just a stranger walking in the door. And so that's another way to think about your role. When you see your new member family and you get to reach out and go, "Hey, Tyler, it's really good to see you." Like, who doesn't appreciate that? So that's something else to keep in mind when we think about part of the role that you all are going to play. You're going to be that sense of welcome and belonging. Stephanie, I think, sent out a one-pager that describes a way to envision the next few months in your relationship with your new member family. And I'm going to let her walk through it, and I'm going to listen in and provide any annotation that's needed.
Yes. So you all got this, right? Hopefully. Um so the
Yeah.
most important, this is just sort of an outline of the 6 month commitment that we call this. And the most important thing is to be there on Sunday to meet them at the membership class. So we are going to meet at 8:45 in the Burris Gathering Space, which is our brand new gigantic we can't call it living room because the other room is the living room, but it's our gigantic space where the coffee is that's right in front of where the new library is going to be. So really you just come right up the ramp door off of Concord Road and get inside and take a left and you can't miss it. So we are going to have breakfast foods and coffee and juice and water. And we are going to connect you with your new member so that you can begin chatting with them.
And
And
Stephanie, I have
then,
good news.
yes.
You don't have to fear spilling food or drink. Someone else did that. So the first stain has been made.
Yay.
Don't worry about it.
That's great. That's
That's
good. That
Someone
awesome.
will
takes
get
all the
mad.
pressure off.
Yeah.
That's good. So on Sunday, we're just asking you to be a part of what we call an introduction circle, where you're going to sit with your new member. And basically it's them introducing themselves. So there will be new members, host families, members of staff, and members of the membership committee. Nobody else will actually go through any sort of script about introducing themselves except for the new members. So you're there as just kind of support for them and to learn all about the new members that are coming in. And you guys will basically say what your name is, how long you've been a member of the church, and who you're hosting. So, and then hopefully we will get done in time for you to spend a little bit more time on the back end with your new members before you guys part ways, and they're going to go on with the rest of the class. And they're also going to go through the 11 o'clock worship service together and be introduced to the congregation at the end. If you are planning to go to the 11 o'clock worship service, it would be nice and fun if you guys could sit together at the service and then just be there to support them at the end when the congregation comes up to greet them. So after that, the only thing that we have definitely planned, we don't have a date, but we know we're going to do it, is we have what we call a new member host family gathering, and that's going to be sometime in June. And we're going to invite this class, the February class, and also the May class. There'll be 2 classes of new members and host families. And what we do at those are just 1 hour of basically snacks and treats and icebreakers and games. And every once in a while, Robert will bust out his guitar and sing us a song. So it's a fun time just to get everybody together in a really casual way, just to get everybody to know each other a little bit better. But in the meantime, it's kind of there's no hard and fast rule of how you have to behave as a host. if your personality is such that you would like to invite them over for dinner or ask them to go out to dinner or to coffee or invite them to a concert or whatever your favorite thing is and what seems natural to you, then that's what you'll do. But there's no definite like checkbox of rules that you have to follow. We are going to have some Lenten suppers, from what I understand. And in the past, when we've had Wednesday dinners, we have tried to pick a Wednesday where we invite the new members and host families to eat together and we pay for the meal. So we might actually consider that for just this class. And if we do that, we'll definitely let you know what date that is. And then on down the road, the 2 to 6 months, basically, just every once in a while, check in with your host family. If you know the kinds of things that they are interested in, make sure that they've connected in some way at DCPC, whether it's a Sunday school class or a circle or maybe a mission project or a social justice event. Just kind of check in and make sure that they have done something besides worship so that they don't fall into the category of the ones that are walking out the back door because they haven't connected. So I think that covers it. Are there any questions about that?
Stephanie, while folks think about a question or two, I
Yeah.
just want to, some new member families, they're pretty plugged in. Like they know the drill already, and they might not need the same kind of invitation and interpretation, but others are pretty darn new. And so hopefully as you get to know your folks, you realize what their needs are. I mean, it's like any social engagement in life. We kind of learn from the people that we're developing a relationship with. And again, some might like to be blunt, when Sean Samuelson Henry and the Henry family joined the church, they didn't really need a lot. They'd already been with the church for a few months. And besides, it was COVID, there wasn't a lot to do anyway. So there wasn't a lot for whoever their host family was. But for some of y'all, you might have someone who's brand new. So that kind of sense of invitation and interpretation and the regularity that you do that might be a little bit different. So.
Perfect.
So any questions that have cropped up?
Heck no.
May I just say, and you probably already know, Steve, I think communicated this, that I was planning to be back Sunday to meet with Ginny Newell, and a close family friend passed away unexpectedly while I was traveling out here. So I extended my stay a little bit to go to his memorial service. So I won't be back Sunday. But Steve agreed to be the person for Ginny and to sort of help her get started.
You did tell us that, Cheryl, and I'm so sorry to hear about your friends.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm kind of sorry for Ginny
Oh.
having to put up with Steve. Steve, where the heck are you?
We're all
Thanks,
doing
Roger.
Oh, yeah, there I am. Yeah,
I wouldn't feel good if you didn't insult me. That's
I know, Steve. I wanted to make you feel good. Like,
I feel good. I
come
can go
on.
to bed. I can go to bed
Yeah.
happy.
Yep.
Y'all know the churches where people are nice to each other all the time. That's not our church.
No, I figured that out the first day.
Oh,
No.
goodness.
Other questions or comments?
So, Laurie, I just have to tell you that one of the members who's joining on Sunday is going to join the Steel Pan Band, I think. I don't know if she'll join it, but she at least plays the steel pans. So I'll make sure she's not your new member, but I'll make sure I introduce you to her anyway, because I think that'll be fun for you guys.
Oh,
I thought we were saving Lori O'Connor for new members who run ultra marathons and mountain marathons.
Yes.
Like, Lori, tell everybody what you're training for right now.
Muted.
I'm training for the Grand Tetons half.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lori,
Good for you.
Yeah, there's
you're putting
probably
us all to
a
shame.
handful.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That is.
But yeah, I mean, if anyone new who, is interested in running communities or swimming too, because we swim in the lake. We're a source, so.
Yeah.
So
I would love
your new member is athletic, and I think she's a cyclist. So I'm actually that brings up a good point. Yes, that's what I thought. But I am going to send you the biographies and pictures
good.
of your new members before
Yeah.
Sunday.
I was going to
School
ask.
is tomorrow afternoon, so you'll at least get to read about them before Sunday.
I
And
want
you'll
to know what Jenny looks like because I have no clue.
Yeah, we
oh,
don't
that's right. You'll see their
about
picture.
her other than she lives on Lormar, I think.
She does, right across the street from the church.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's helpful.
Any other words of wisdom, Peter? Or are you stuck?
You look stuck.
Yeah.
You look stuck.
That's a great position to be
Like a
stuck in.
statue.
Very
Get
regal.
out of sound asleep.
Now he went away.
Gone.
Now
They
you-
finally did the mugshot.
and that's going to be on video, so I can screenshot that one.
Yeah, exactly.
For blackmail in the staff chat chain. Hilarious. All right.
I will say-
Sophia. Go ahead, Steve.
I will say this is helpful, having been a new member. At least we kind of know a few things that is going to help us, because there's no script, but there is kind of some suggestions.
Right,
So-
exactly. And we do try to plan some events where you guys will come together naturally, so you don't have to plan it yourself. So the gathering is really fun. For anybody who's ever come to one of those, they can tell you how much fun they are. And then I do hope to invite everybody to a dinner. So, and that's really easy too. You just come to the congregation house. And here's Peter. You want to come say hi? Mugshot.
Sorry about that.
You got a nice mugshot on there.
Oh, that's
We're gonna use it
All right.
later somehow. All right. So we're looking forward to seeing you on Sunday. And if you have any trouble or any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm going to give you my cell phone number so you can text me if anything happens on Sunday morning. But I'll be sending you all that tomorrow.
Okay,
All
perfect.
right.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thank
Great.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Great, thank you.
You guys have a great night.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Take care.